Okay, this is my Papian. Say hi. This is my Papian, Misha. This is a cutie. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about Misha. Misha knows about 100 different tricks. She probably can add about 500 to 1,000 words. And what people say is, Misha is so smart. Well, Misha's not smart. She's probably about as smart as any dog. Misha's so good. Well, Misha's not really that good. Misha is well-mannered because it serves Misha. And when it doesn't work for Misha, she'll stop being well-mannered. Like any kid, people always say, kids are different these days. I don't think kids are any different these days than they ever were. I think parents are different. And because we allow kids to do different things, kids will do it. Like, we would have totally been jerks. If our parents let us get away with it, if we could be, having any kind of attitude, getting away with stuff, we would have totally done it. But here's the story of Misha. So I got Misha from the Sunray Pet Store, which, before you start on me, I don't usually buy dogs from pet stores. That's another story, putting those and such. But Misha came from the Sunray Pet Store. And what happened is I went to the Sunray Pet Store to get my dog Buddha a bone. They only sold the kind of bones that he liked at Sunray. So I went there. And I saw this little tiny thing. She was about this big. She looked to be about, 6 weeks old. And so I was looking at her in the mirror because she's so cute. And the owner comes over and says to me, well, you can't buy that dog. That dog's, something wrong with that dog. And I said, well, okay. I wasn't going to buy a dog, but I'll buy it. Why? He goes, oh, there's something wrong with that dog. That dog's 15 weeks. I said, 15 weeks? She looks like she's 6 weeks. He goes, I know. She was 1.1 pounds when she came in, and now she's 0.9. So in the 9 weeks that she had been at the pet store, she'd actually lost weight. And this is quite disturbing. She should have more than doubled her weight. So I said the obvious, did you take her to the doctor? He goes, yeah, we took her to the doctor. She's fine. The doctor says there's nothing wrong. Okay. And I'm watching her play, and she's happy, cutest little dog ever. So I, of course, decided I wanted to play with her. And so I was playing with her in the little visiting room, and he comes over, he goes, yep, something wrong with the dog. Now, I know a lot about dogs, and I'm watching this dog. I'm like, the dog looks fine. And she's like, yep, won't eat. So I said, he said she's not for sale. So what are you going to do with her? Well, we'll just send her back. What are the breeders going to do with her? And then I figured out really quick what they were going to do with Misha, which is kill her. So I'm watching this dog, and I'm like, I got to save this dog. So I came back every day, and he wouldn't sell her to me, wouldn't sell her to me. And he told me that if she gained the amount of weight she was when she came in, that he would sell her to me. I went every day after work for about 2 hours, and she never did gain the weight. But he eventually sold her to me because I'm sure I was annoyed. And so I brought home this little dog, and the first thing I did was take her to the vet. And sure enough, the vet said there's nothing wrong with the dog. So I carried her around in a pouch. It was a good thing I was on spring break. I made a little pouch out of dishcloth and carried her around right next to my chest for about 3 days. She still wouldn't eat. I was force feeding her. But I kept her right in the chest to let her know this is where you belong. You're now home. A lot of times what we do with puppies is take them away from home too soon, and they're not able to bond. I mean, can you imagine how traumatic that is? So I brought her home. And on the third day, my other dog, Buddha, was eating lunch out of his little bowl, and she looked at him and looked at me and looked at him and looked at me and jumped down and started eating. In fact, she hasn't stopped eating since. She's on a pretty strict diet. Dog will eat anything. She was just fine. Happiest little dog, most well-adjusted little dog you ever seen. Except she's kind of a food hoarder. She'll actually go and pick stuff out of our garden and hide them in her shoes. It's the craziest thing you ever saw. So what was wrong with Misha? Well, Misha had something called failure to thrive. And she would have died from it, even if they hadn't euthanized her. In fact, people die from it all the time. And failure to thrive usually means heck if we know. Much like Misha. Heck if we know what's wrong. They just die. This is how important the dog pack is. This is how important the connection is. If I were to go away today and just leave Misha by herself, and suppose I left her with all the food and water and everything she could possibly ever need or want, but she was by herself, what would happen? Well, she'd probably die. And I've talked in class probably about attention. Attention, is it a want? Is it a need? In our society, we tend to think it's a want. It's just an extra. In fact, people tell me about kids, oh, they're just faking it to get attention. I can go, wow, okay. I'm more worried about them if they're faking it. If they're faking something to get attention, that's an equally bad problem. because it means that they're not getting what they need. And Misha literally would have died. And, you know, we studied the Russian orphans died from lack of attention. So what she needed was a pack. She needed a place to belong. She needed some attention and a place to feel safe. And that's what people need. They need the exact same things. And that's why I really think that liking them to dogs is such an apt association. But we'll talk about how we train Misha later. Bye!